Hello, good afternoon. We are back for day two. Day two today, we're talking about energy and the energy around you, what we are giving off. Are we in repel mode or are we in attraction mode? So we'll talk a little bit about that. And if you caught the replay or you were live yesterday, awesome. If you need to watch it, it's in the unit section. We also have some homework soul work. We're calling it soul work to dig in and go deep. And there are some questions there on what do you want to call in? What do you want to manifest? So the post is in there in the same units. It's with the same section as the video. So if you want to go there, anyone who's following along and doing their homework this week is going to be put in a draw for prizes at the end of the week, and they're good. So I recommend go in, do a little bit of thought, put in your answer there for the soul work. And today we're going to talk about energy. That's for today. I did have something else I wanted to say. Virginia, is there anything that you wanted to mention as we're opening?
I just wanted to mention that literally overnight, Facebook has changed the units tab in the group to be called guides now. So I'm like, what? So when I was trying to move things around last night, I was like, what the heck is that? Where'd it go? So yeah. So just in case, if we refer to it as units, you'll understand that was what it used to be called. It's now called guides, and that's where you can find the replays of all of these classes this week.
Facebook is
Hi, Heather. Hi, Sabrina. Yeah, Facebook's changing things on me. It's like,
well, they're getting spiritual. These are your guides. Come into your
yeah, exactly. See, it was made just for us.
See, the soul work homework is where you go to talk to your guides.
That's it. Actually, I never thought of that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
They had us
Heather, welcome, Sabrina. I love it. Could we do some healing and clearing on Facebook? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Clear some accounts, maybe. Yeah, we won't go there. We're keeping this energy high today, but I feel you.
Exactly. I know.
Awesome.
So we thought we would start off today, before we get going and talking about energy and your biz, we thought we would start off just with a little bit of a grounding meditation, help kind of bring us into the room and shake off the first part of the day and kind of start fresh. So if you all have a comfortable seat somewhere, again, I usually recommend back supported, head free. If your feet can be on the ground, that's always lovely, because when we're doing a grounding meditation, it just kind of helps with the visualizing, when we're kind of grounding to the ground. But if it's more comfortable for you to lay down, then, you can visualize that way as well. So no big deal. So get yourself seated in a nice, comfortable position, back supported, head free. And I invite you to close your eyes. Let's just take a couple of deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. With every inhale, you're expanding. With every exhale, release and let go. And on the inhale, expand. And on the exhale, release. Melt down, relax. And now I invite you to visualize a beautiful white, gold, sparkling light above your crown chakra, high up in the heavens. And this beautiful, beautiful light beams down straight through your crown chakra into the top of your head, bringing you all this beautiful energy of love and light, coming down through your head, through your chakra, down through your spine, all the way down through your spine, out the base of your spine, and straight down into Mother Earth. And just feel this incredible flow of energy running straight through your body, feeling like an energy conduit, connecting the heavens and the earth, feeling grounded, feeling connected, and just sit and enjoy this beautiful energy as it runs through your body, through your chakras, into Mother Earth, lights up our body, lights up our soul, grounds us down into Mother Earth. And as you're feeling this beautiful energy running through you, visualize roots coming out of your feet and going down into Mother Earth, deep down, connecting, grounding, holding us like a tree trunk, solid, secure, safe, but feeling the flow and the beauty of the energy that's flowing from above. And just breathe, feeling this groundedness, feeling this safety. Letting go of all of the day, restarting, refreshing. And then slowly coming back into your body, back into the room, noticing the sounds around you, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Hello, ladies. We're all here now. Here we go.
Good morning. That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, very welcome.
That's awesome. So today we are energy and your biz, which is one of my, who knew, but one of my favorite topics after I've done several of these launches and talking about business and really how important it is, that energy really is everything, how we put our, what we run through our bodies, what we run through our business. And today we get to talk about, first of all, what we're holding in our body gets projected on our business. Are we embodied in our business? Are we embodied in our bodies? And if not, I'm going to go into greater detail in a little bit about how I've integrated the meridian systems into clearing through ourselves so that we can clear through our businesses, because we have those blockages and we want to, my purpose is to really give people the tools so that you have lifelong access to identifying, wow, I'm really feeling scared today. Okay, I'm going to clear that through my kidneys, and I'm going to access that through the physical body and also the consciousness of the business. So I will go through all of that, and just a teeny update as far as a lot of I'm a naturopathic doctor and acupuncturist, and really what the baseline of naturopathic medicine is always finding the root cause of dis-ease, or what is the underlying issue. It's like you have a skin, you might go to a Western medicine doctor and they would say, you have a skin issue. Let's put some cream on it. But as a naturopath, we would actually say, oh, you have a skin issue. How is your digestive tract going? What's happening in your digestion? What's happening inward? What's happening with your emotions? All the different layers and levels. And as the energy healing form that I created came through, it really was integrating, clearing through all of our different meridian systems. And as that came through, it was even a deeper aha moment for me that really the energetic root cause of our dis-ease within ourselves and our business is energetic. It's not the physical. Yes, you may be low on vitamin D, but what's deeper than that? So this is what we're going to do. It goes deeper into this self-healing and learning how to heal thyself and learning where our energetic blocks are, because those blocks will then, once we identify them and can shift them, our outer world will shift. We have to go inward to do that work. So I know Christine has a couple things she wants to touch on in this topic, and then I'll go through, looking at the handout. I have a lot of just questions to help you prompt with healing your life, healing your business, connecting deeper inside of you, looking for those blocks. So I would love for Christine to go into that. I know she has some areas she wants to talk about as far as the energetics of your business go.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for that. I love talking about meridians. I've always enjoyed Chinese medicine, having lived in Asia, and an acupuncturist that I had, I loved it. Now I understand the energy work. I was just feeling so good when I left there. So this is really dear to my heart as well. So I'm excited for today. With the energy, basically, when we're thinking of whatever it is, maybe it's new clients, money, our relationship, is what energy are we in? What are we giving out? What's the electromagnetic signature that we are? If we believe that we're not worthy, then we're going to give that out. If we feel that money is hard to make, then we're going to give that out as well. That's something that I've been healing my own money story the last 2 months. And I'm going to tell you, January kicked my butt because I've been going deep. I really want to heal it and get rid of it. And but it's been good. It's been a good eye-opening experience, and just really observing where you are. No judgment, being kind, saying, okay, I see you, thoughts, I see you there. And is that part of the energy that I'm giving off, or, whether I'm in attraction or repel? So I think, along with the energy, law of attraction, how we're attracting things, that's the law of vibration as well. It's really important what you're thinking about. So if we were to say, how about an extra $1,000 this week? What is your first thought? Is it, yeah, right, no way, where's the money going to come from? Or, okay, I'm open to an opportunity, I'm open to the possibility, or I'm open to source showing me a way for that to come. Our thoughts are really important in helping with the energy of whatever it is that we're wanting to manifest or to have come into our lives. If we are in that lower vibrational kind of thought, then we're going to get more examples of it. So I'll use myself as an example. For my divorce, I was in very much a repel. So people don't stick around, relationships are hard, and then it didn't end up working out. And I haven't been married again since. It's been almost 20 years. And so as I look back even on that, I'm okay with it. But some of the other relationships I've had also were along that same underlying belief that I had about people don't stick around. And, so I've been following that pattern. And so if there's something in your life, you're not getting, the clients or the money, or, maybe there's some tension in a relationship you have in your home, really just look at what is the energy I'm sitting in. Is this part of something that's from my core belief and who I believe I am? Our core, or our self-image of who we believe we are, is everything. Because if you're writing your affirmations and you're doing the work and you're like, okay, I don't get it, I'm writing my affirmations, I'm meditating, but still I'm frustrated, there's still contrast. It's like, let's look at it even deeper. What do you believe about yourself? Or what have been your patterns that have built up to this? Because it's not about the situation today. It's actually things that have happened in your past, or what you believed about yourself and the environment from when you were a kid. So just some things to look at as well with the energy piece of it. And also on our thoughts. So if you have something that you want to attract or you want to bring in, we're going to use the clients as an example. And this is for you, Sabrina. So bringing in 15 new clients every month. Okay. So we'll talk about that. What are your first thoughts? Like, in the energy of how that feels. Do you feel like you can do that? Does it seem possible? Are you in a possibility mindset where you're thinking, okay, I can get clear on my messaging, I can attract the right person? Or are we in more of the thoughts of, well, that's really hard, I've never done it before, or who's going to pay it now? It's we're in lockdown and money issues and all of that. It just depends on where your thoughts are, and just observe. It's okay, whatever they are. a way to mind hack that, or a way to get around, is take the first thought. If you want 15 new clients, or you want $1,000 this week to come in, what's your first thought? And take that. Is that a limiting belief? So if you have your limiting belief, you can write it down. Anything. Could be for relationships, money, clients, business. And then what would be an empowering decision or an empowering thought? So it's the opposite of whatever it is. So if mine was, let's say, money is hard to make, my new empowering belief is money flows easily and all of the time. Or, ease and flow. We like ease and flow. So money flows easily to me. But one piece of it that's extra that I'm going to give you today that I hadn't heard, except this one coach, is what is the evidence? What is the evidence that it is real so that your brain accepts it? Because I could write, and I have been writing for years, I'm going to have $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year. I've never hit it. Okay, so I'm tired of writing. I'm having $100,000 a year and not hitting it. I made a decision and I'm changing. I'm going to understand how the brain works. And so now what I've done is I've created evidence on how that can be and how that can come to, because I've been running with that program of lack and not feeling worthy. And so that money wasn't coming because my brain had shut off to the energy of any possibilities or opportunities. They're out there. 100% they're out there. But if we're not in the vibration or in the energy of possibilities and things are coming to me, then our mind shuts down. Maybe we don't see the post, or maybe we don't see a message from someone or someone who's ready for us, and source has been putting them on our hearts or on our mind, but we haven't reached out to them for fear or whatever reason. Like, that's the possibilities and just sitting in that. So as you're thinking about what you want to attract, what is your limiting belief? If there's one there, what can you write that's more empowering or moves you closer to your goal? And then what's the evidence? A really good one around the money is, let's say money is hard to make. The new one is money flows easily, or money is always flowing into my bank account. What's the proof? Well, I had, new deposits go in, so I can look at that. And the coach that I heard this from, he said, even if you have to go to your couch and get a nickel for evidence, so you have something that you can write down, then go and find a nickel or a dime under something in your house to show that money flows easily to you. You're just repatterning your brain. And the more that you give your brain that evidence of that coming, it's also looking for that evidence out there. More of that opportunity is going to be attracted to you. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And I would say, I love all that. Like, exactly it. Like, if my kid finds a penny, I'm like, woo, look at all that money, it's coming in. My kids run around with fake money and I'm like, yeah, they're really flowing in it. Like, it's different than you want to identify the limiting belief, but then you want to destroy and uncreate it in all time, space, and dimensions and beyond, because you have to get under it. Because if we don't get under it and say, where is this from? Where is this coming from? And then I decide, I'm going to just decide that, money's going to flow to me easily, but I haven't dug under it to see it's not going to shift. And that's why you could write every year, I'm going to make $100,000 a year. But what's under that? What's the dad wound? What's the 4-year-old wound? What's the deeper money that is, like Sabrina said, I go into where are they going to come from? So that's like, how are they going to find me? Why would they pick me? So that's like, what's the wound there? How do I get under it? How do I start loving that 4-year-old and giving that? And then the proof as well, like the proof of the penny, like absolutely, that works so well. And money wants to be recognized and experience gratitude. So I know we're not on money, but it always comes back to, often money will give us our wounds. So then we go deeper and we're like, what really needs to be healed here? So the self-worth, the other wounds around there too. So there's some hacks in there that, identifying the limiting belief, and then where did this come from? Like, just starting to get curious and asking some questions. And I love questions for the expansion part too, because what would it feel like to have 100K year? Ooh, that would feel like I would feel really good, or, whatever your financial spot is. I know Virginia wants to say something too, so I'm going to hand it over to Virginia.
Thank you. I just wanted to come back to, like, the beginning of it all is the awareness. It's really having the awareness of those thoughts as they come up, or those feelings as they come up, whether it be in a situation or like Sabrina says, when, you know, she's going into those questions. So when you have those thoughts, like Christine suggested, or beliefs, right, you're going to write that down, but now you need to reframe it. So take that thought and reframe it. And you know, again, as the ladies mentioned, you know, you're reframing it, you're going deep in the sense of finding out what's behind that. What's that, like Dr. G said, what's that wound that's behind that is making me think that, you know, way, to feel that way, and whatever. And just, you know, kind of starting with the awareness, I think, is really, really key. And then, you know, what's interesting, Sabrina, when I read your comment about where that you go into, where are they going to come from? How are they going to find me? Why would they pick me over all the other healers? That's none of your business. It's not your business, right? You have zero control over any of those. So also don't take ownership of things that you have no control over, and allow the universe to do its job with the energy that you're putting out. So focus on that awareness and reframing those thoughts, so that when you're putting that energy out, you're putting it out in that, you know, I choose for the path to be easy. And just however and whatever you're putting it out there, so that you're reframing that thought and not trying to control. And I really liked a comparison that Christine used a couple months ago, is we often are like this with our business, and we're trying to control everything and where it comes from, and the money and the everything. And you really just need to stop the tug of war and put down the rope. And just keep putting yourself out there, keep doing what you do in your business, and how you are and how you show up in the world, and just allow the energy to come back to you in the most beautiful way that it will. Oh, you're muted, Dr. G.
Muted.
There you are.
Right. Yeah. So there's a lot there, you know, especially I do like what Robin Parr talked about in our Conscious Business Showcase, Sabrina. And I think that checking back there too can give you some tools. I love everything that has been said. You know, we're 3 different people coming from 3 different avenues with how we approach things, which is really great, right? So we're going to have things that work for each of us. And then by bringing those in, we're going to have this exponential growth. And that's really what we're doing together, is expanding your ability to grow quicker through your business, to bring consciousness and awareness into your business in these 3 different ways. So what I really am specializing in is how to assess energetic leaks in your business and how to move through it, right? So you always have tools that are for forevermore you're going to use. So I have listed these on our worksheet. Hey, Stephanie. So I always start with fear. So fear, and I do this in the Ray of Light Meridian Therapy program as well. So the kidneys are in the back, and they are each of our organs in our body house a different energetic frequency and different emotion. So as we can identify what emotion are we holding on to, or what's coming up, like today I'm feeling some grief, I'm feeling some frustration, not a lot of fear. Some of that's mine, some of that the collectives. And so I just by start bringing that awareness into what am I feeling today and what am I projecting onto my business. And I always start with the kidneys. They're in the very back of the body because fear can be very heavy. Fear can put you into fight or flight. It can make you freeze. It can make you stop connecting with, outreaching into Sabrina. You're very intuitive. So just starting to look through your friends list and being like, who really needs my services, or building however you're building your business, building it in those connections so that you can intuitively start tuning in and sharing your services, sharing what you're offering, showing up consistently. But if there's fear holding you back, then we want to address that. And that's held in the kidneys. And they're really, if we're in fear, we're frozen, we're running as fast as we possibly can from a bear, which is not going to make us be very present in our business. We're not feeling supported. And so it can be very sticky with fear if we're letting that run our business. And then whatever's in our physical body, we're projecting that onto the consciousness of our business. So starting for each of you guys, writing these questions down. What fear are you holding on to within yourself, within your business? So it could be fear of being seen. I know that's come up this last weekend. Fear of being prosperous. Like some people are scared of the responsibility of having a 100K month. What does that mean? Where would that money go? How would I spend it? Like, would everybody then want me? Like, would I be, whatever the stories are. So really we have to identify what are the stories you're holding on to. And then grief. So grief is
one step before on that, the fear of being seen is also who you're going to leave behind. So if you are making higher months, and I don't know if this is your situation, Sabrina, but are you okay making more money than your husband? We say we are, we're like, oh yeah, but deep down, right? You have to look at all of that. But so I was just going to say is even a fear of who you might be leaving behind.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's so many layers. So it's, Elena says, oh dear, fear is huge. It is huge. And that's really why I start with it, because it can be so blocking in our business. I noticed fear, several months ago of reaching out to people about the programs I offered of like, ooh, who am I going to bother them? Or, and I had to release that. And actually, as you release the fear and then you have more momentum in your business, there is that fear of leaving people behind because people are seeing you and they're like, oop, there she goes. And so with expansion, you will also have, this fear or even grief that happens because you are expanding. Is your husband okay with you making more? And Heather said she had to work with hers on that. Mine says, yeah, and I know that she's not asking me that. I know she's asking Sabrina, but it's super. My husband had said, what did he say? He had expected that I would always make more than him, but during 2020, there was this dip. And then now there was a lot of shifting in that. So even just starting to investigate the partner relationship, and you can start that energetically and then address it with them if you need to. But often you don't have to have like a straight up conversation. It's just like identifying, connecting with his higher self. That's really helpful. So fear is always the first one. I imagine releasing it through the kidneys, letting that flow down and out of the body. Yeah, exactly. Because the masculine is there to provide and protect, right? So there may be some, but also at the same time, he might totally celebrate you bringing in 50K months and we just don't know. So it's identifying the fear, releasing it. Grief is the next big emotion that's in your lungs. And it's always grief. Knowing that when you're expanding, you're still going to experience grief is really big. Grief is another insidious one that we're always working on. And then also knowing that it's being held through our collective right now. So a lot of these emotions are not only that you're carrying, but you're energetically carrying them of the collective. So then love, we move into the heart. What is that heart space really there to support us in? Bringing love and joy. If we're not having love and joy in our lives, then we're like we might not be having love and joy in our businesses. And what does it mean to bring more love and joy into your business? Because honestly, like 2021 is such a big, expansive year that now I'm really asking myself the question: if this is not bringing me love and joy, is it something that I want to continue? And I'm going to start using a lot more discernment of, either guesting on podcasts or different connections or relationships. And then if the answer is no, then you're going to actually, by allowing this discernment to come through, you're going to have a lot more expansion in your business as well. And we'll talk about clearing some blocks. But then overthinking and anxious are emotions that are held in your stomach and spleen. And those are our earth organs. So if we're really thinking, so think about, we're thinking in our head, we're anxious, we're overthinking, we're always in our head, we're really draining our earth organs. Our earth organs want to help us connect down into the earth. They want to help us feel nourished. They want to help us feel supported. And we want to identify what feelings of anxiousness are we experiencing. So it could be it could be more of an anxiousness of finding your people, or anxiousness of money, or anxiousness in a lot of different areas. The overthinking is huge. And especially in the Western world where we don't meditate as much, we don't know how to clear our thoughts. We don't know how to clear our emotions. So where are we spending our energy? And then knowing that is actually draining one of your organs, and we want to start to learn how to clear that through each of your organs. And I'm just going to let Christine and Virginia be in the chat. So I'm going to stay focused on what the content is. And this big one is anger and frustration. So we can also experience a lot of anger and frustration, and it's on a global level. So a lot of people right now in the collective are feeling angry. A lot of people are feeling frustrated. It's easy as an entrepreneur to feel angry and frustrated in your business if we don't identify what those angers and frustrations are, and then learn how to clear them through the energetic body, and then also the consciousness of your business. The consciousness of your business actually can clear quite easily. You just have to do some of that inner work, because I'm angry. Sabrina could even be, we're using Sabrina because she's sharing, but you could be angry and frustrated because you don't have your clients, or you could be angry and frustrated because money hasn't shown up, or you could be angry and frustrated that, the technical side isn't perfect or flowing like you would want it to be. And it's good to identify that, because once you can identify it without judgment, we can really learn how to shift it. And again, as we shift it and clear it through the consciousness of your business is like, let's go. Your business is already like ready to go. We really have to clear the self. And then, anger and frustration, yes, is in the liver and the gallbladder. So the gallbladder is and I would say gallbladder, it's like right under the liver. And it's more of the gallbladder is more repressed anger and repressed frustration. Because think about that. Like, we could have anger towards our childhood, or anger towards a person from 20 years ago. That's going to be more underlying. That's going to cause more chronic digestive issues. It's going to cause more like uproar and kind of raging anger, because you haven't expressed it. Women are never really taught how to express anger and frustration. So it's often that we then suppress it or repress it, because we were never taught that it was an okay emotion. Like, oh, you're just going to sit there and be blah, 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 blah. So actually, part of my journey, when I stopped drinking alcohol, I had a lot of anger that came up. And I was like, wow, I never thought I was an angry person. And think about the liver. The liver is what detoxifies when you drink alcohol. I just got some divine messages in 2019 that were like, the dreams that you are seeking require you to be sober, or, just like not drink alcohol. And I was like, I agree. And I just took it on June 1st. But then I was doing the healing process of like the alcohol. And if we're going to be channels, if we're going to be connecting with source and spirit and have more woo businesses, alcohol is not really one of our things that are going to help us. And that was really the message that came through. And no judgment for me. It was just like, it was very clear that, and I just love how that emotion comes in. Like, I did have more anger come up because I was really just suppressing myself by thinking things were okay. It was usually just a glass of wine or a beer in the evening, but it was enough to not let me feel something. But really what we're here to do is we're to heal, we're to shine, we're to dive in and help other people do the same thing. So I would say the liver and gallbladder are very important. They're all really important. The small intestine is our organ that absorbs. And I'm really getting more and more clarity and messages about the small intestine. It's the longest part of our body. And it helps us, not only does it help us absorb, but it helps us create discernment. Like, what do we need physically, emotionally, spiritually? And if we don't have discernment, then we're going to be out there doing all of the things, but not focused on the things that are really helping our greatest ascension, helping our business and ourselves be fully there. Because if we're going down all these rabbit holes, that's not discernment. Small intestine wants us to have a good boundary to identify what is needed and what is not, and then move forward in that way. So I'm getting more and more in touch with the small intestine and loving it more, because I really know that this is what 2021 is also calling for us, is using clear discernment and not getting lost down these other rabbit holes. And then we have two more. So I'm going to go through these other two. So how often do you find yourself holding on to patterns and beliefs that don't serve you? So this large intestine is, we all know it contains our poop, and then we poop it out. So it is really the organ that allows us to clearly and effectively eliminate. which is another thing that we don't do in the Western world very well. We hold on to things, we hold on to physical things, we hold on to, love it, Jessie Claire, discernment is my forte. We hold on to limiting beliefs, we hold on to more and more things. And as I work through the 8 weeks to activate and align your business, helping with helping business owners clear, I again got more and more messages of how important it is for us to clearly and effectively eliminate. Because if we're not doing that for ourselves and in our business, then we're holding on to, literally, we're holding on to shit that we don't need anymore. And if we're holding on to shit that we don't need anymore, our business is heavy. It weighs down. So when I've done this clearing with the consciousness of your business, the business literally was like, they showed me just like shaking the shit off of the business. Like, oh, thank goodness, thank you for clearing it. And so I know that's a little vulgar, but it literally is, it's the organ that eliminates, and really important. So then the last one is the bladder, and the bladder is our boundaries. And it also does hold on to any residual fear. So when we hold on to residual fear in that bladder area, you make a lot of empaths process with urinating more because we don't quite have the boundaries that we need. So when I activate and clear the bladder, I actually imagine and help people imagine this clearer boundary around us where we're only allowing in the highest frequency of love. Nothing else gets in. We don't need to be a sponge. We don't need to allow people into our energy systems to kind of drain us. We get to decide, and we get to be empowered to have, healthy bladders. And I often, this is not, I don't think it's too personal, but like I would find myself doing clearings and then urinating a lot. And that meaning that I work very, I'm very intentional about my energetic boundaries, that I'm only allowing in these highest frequencies, and that alone has shifted who gets to come in. Family members don't get to text me every day, and I don't have to tell them not to text me every day. I just created clearer boundaries and said, this is what, if it's not of the highest frequency of love, it doesn't get to come in. And that has really shifted my energy, my ability to sleep. Like I'm not drained from family members or clients that, might poke and prod. So as a healer, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, having really clear boundaries helps your business have more energy. It helps it have more clarity. It helps it not feel so drained. So this was a lot. And I know that this will just sort of be a journal activity to go through it, look at it. How are these different emotions affecting your business? And an easy visualization that I like to do, we use honey in the Ray of Light Meridian Therapy. And I'm going to come to that in a second, Heather. And then, so I like to clear it with honey. So I just let honey clear through those organs. It's a nice viscous, it's like watching syrup kind of, but it's not sticky. I know honey is sticky in the physical world, but in the energetic world, when I visualize it, I just allow it to clear all the things blocking each of those organs. And I can do this while I'm folding laundry or doing the dishes, or if I'm noticing some big emotions come up, I acknowledge the emotions. I'm aware of them. And then I allow them to be released. I give them permission, and I can visualize that clearing through my business as well. So ileocecal valve between large and small intestines. Is there a specific energy there? Yes, I was shown it a while ago. I have to tune into that for a little bit, Heather, because really it's going from, if you think just about it's moving from absorption and discernment into the ability, it's the transition into the ability to clearly and effectively eliminate. So it's like right in this transition. It's like a gateway is what they're like. It's just kind of showing me a gateway of transitioning from discernment to allowing yourself to release that which you're not holding on to anymore. So kind of like you're entering the gateway of like, oh, I've created this better pattern of discernment, and now I'm giving myself permission to really release. I'm going through this gateway of really being able to release that which is no longer serving physically, emotionally, spiritually. So that's really why the energetics of our body does matter. And how do we start having more tools to do that? People don't really talk about how do I clear the emotions through the different areas. And you may have, by some of these, you may have really powerful experiences of limiting beliefs you've held on to, or different things, areas of discernment. So the ray of light is how I really activate this and clear it. But there's other ways you can also just be, take notes on where you're feeling the most stuck, and just start visualizing and acknowledging and clearing that, not only for yourself, but for the collective. Because that's another big thing, is that we're taking on so much of what's happening as the world is ascending. And that will block us, and having, love and not judging ourselves if we're in fear, if we're not having love and joy. Like it's not a place of judgment. It's more of curiosity. Oh, wow, look at that. I have a lot of fear. Like someone else said, whoa, holy cow, I didn't realize I had so much fear. No judgment. Just say, wow, that's interesting. What is the fear? And as you start to list it out, you can really start to create some more objective perspective. And then you heal even quicker, which is really cool. So, whew.
There you go. What was the bladder again? A healthy bladder?
The bladder is boundaries. And then also it's like a residual container for fear. So the water, bladder and kidneys are both water, and they both house fear. And I think of the bladder because the channel starts right in the eyes, right by the inside of the eyes, and it goes all the way out and around, up and down the back and down the legs. And so that really makes me think of boundaries, and not boundaries created to block you, but boundaries just to create a healthy, like, energetic system for you to be around. So some people will say boundaries aren't needed. I kind of disagree with just what's happening in the planet, that we are really discerning about the energies we're letting into our systems. So if I'm watching TV, or I don't have a TV, but if I'm watching a movie, I am really aware of allowing and having a boundary so that I'm not receiving those energetic frequencies. I'm able to have some space between them. And sleeping too. So when are we susceptible? Go ahead.
And I was just going to add that for me, that's exactly how those things materialized in my body, and how I knew I had work to do, because they showed up with that. Again, in the bladder, gallbladder, I was having gallbladder stuff. So you've got gallbladder and liver. And then as I was working through that, it kind of transitioned into bladder and kidney. And then, working through that. So it totally manifested. And at the time, I didn't really realize energetically how I did know about, anger in the liver, because it was actually my homeopathic doctor that, had said to me, she had done an exam on me and whatever. And she had said that anger, she said, you've got to release. And I did the same thing. I'm like, what do you mean anger? Seriously? Come on. I'm the most positive person I know. Right. And, but it's not, it's that old stuff that maybe, your organs, they hold on to. So it was just all about releasing that and learning and understanding and moving through that. Right. And as moving through, peeling back those layers, and then up, bladder. And it was like, what is this now? So it's working through that. Absolutely. You're muted again.
Yeah. There. Sabrina asked if your mom and your grandma have issues. So it depends. In my personal opinion, you can clear your DNA so that you do not genetically take on what is being passed through your family line. And that's something that's going to happen more and more in 2021. So this belief of, oh, if it's in your genetics, you're screwed. I don't believe that. I believe we have the power to heal anything and everything. So it's an organ you may want to particularly be more aware of, so that you're, if there's a gallbladder issue, like there was probably a lot of pent up and resentment and anger. If there was, small intestine or large intestine, then there was probably a lot of energetically things being passed through the lineage. And then, we haven't done a DNA activation yet, but later this week we can do it as well, where we're really clearing it through the DNA. I have some genetic things that I told my mom I was going to heal, and she sort of gave me this smirk, and I was like, you don't have to believe me, but I don't have to pass this genetic anomaly onto my family line. And that's really where that's like epigenetic, in my personal opinion, that's epigenetics at its like we get to decide, we get to co-create, we get to clear, because so much of it is in an energetic frequency, for sure.
And I think sometimes that's our purpose. Sometimes some of us are here because it is all about, I shouldn't say all about, but it's a big part of our job here is clearing those past, I don't want to say illnesses or precursors for family genes or whatever. It's kind of part of why we're here, is to clear that, and to clear that for past and future generations.
Yeah, exactly. Like someone else just said, somebody had osteoporosis. So osteoporosis is like, bones. And when there's anything in the bones, I think of what are we not standing up for? What are we not absorbing? What are we not using discernment for? So there's women with a lot of osteoporosis. What were they not able to stand up to? What were they not able to have the structure within their body to just say, this is not okay? Because women went through a lot of things, and they didn't allow themselves to stand up to a lot of things. So now, like, if we can identify some of those energetic, things that are happening, and it is, on a physical level, osteoporosis is your gut. So like, how are you eating? Are you absorbing? Are you taking the right nutrients? And energetically, are you standing? Are you embodied? Or do you have a structure? Are you speaking your truth? Do you feel supported on the inside of your body? Yeah. And let's see. Yeah. Avoid it, embody a different, Elena said, now I know I can avoid it. Yeah, absolutely. Start, embodying who you are, using your voice, using, that power that we really haven't used enough of. So yes. And then Stephanie, we're also here to shift the Western medical world, to shift into a lot of different areas. So if anybody has any questions, I did write in here that we could do a visualization clearing the blocks. So we have about 11 more minutes to answer any questions, and then we could do another, kind of clearing. So I kind of like to begin the session with a clearing and end it so that you can, you really feel that shift as well. Yeah, Elena, and I'm excited to hear you, play with that and allow that in more too. And this is just the beginning. So in, the three of us all bring these different areas that, for me, this is the juice. This is like, as we shift inwardly, we claim our power of healing. We claim our embodiment. That goes into our business, because our business is ready to rock and roll. We just have to do some inner work and having tools, right? Because you can join programs or go other places, and it's like Christine said, I'm not going to write down. I was writing down this thing for like a year, and it just didn't feel right. I'm like, no, there's more to this. And so I like to have tools. I like to have a template. I like to say, okay, if I can clear this and I'm moving, then that to me makes a lot more sense, which is why this is kind of coming through. So if nobody has any questions, we will just do a simple clearing. We'll end today with a clearing. Do you want to add anything, Christine?
Yeah, I was just going to say, to what you were saying, is having the support system, right? I had watched lots of videos. I've spent 20 years learning self-help stuff and reading the books, and wasn't getting further ahead until I hired someone to help me with what I needed. And like the value in someone being able to walk your hand and come through a lot faster. It's way easier, right? Because we can't see our own blind spots. So this is such great information, because this is so helpful. Like when you understand that, or you get something from the doctor, even if you just don't feel good, it's not what you ate. That could be it for sure, but it's, often something deeper, right? Is there an emotion behind it? Is there a fear that's saying, tap, tap, I'm ready to be healed. Let's look at this, and just go a little bit deeper. Can you explain a little bit more about epigenetics?
Yes.
Just in general, not
epigenetics is more of the idea that we can change our genetic genome by what is around us. So how do we eat? Do we exercise? What are we putting into our mindset? So that because before when they identified, and Sabrina, we will do this. We're going to do a visualization and do the honey in just a second. So epigenetics was, they identified the DNA code, right? So they thought, oh, this is locking you in. Like you have osteoporosis, so you're going to have osteoporosis because your mom did. It's like looking at the lineage. And then they're like, there would be twins that would be born and they would go to two different places and one would get the disease and the other wouldn't. And they're like, what happened there? That doesn't make sense. So then epigenetics came in and they were like, oh, your environment does matter. What you eat does matter. Your lifestyle matters. So when we can actually decide to change our DNA, that to me is like epigenetics inside of us, that we get to decide, we get to take that power back and shift and be that fully embodied, healthy person and live way beyond 100 years. Like that is another preconceived idea that we have an expiration date as well. So there's, there's so much more that's possible. And we just sort of kept getting stunted and like put into this nice cookie cutter box. But now epigenetics is like, oh, there is more that's possible and happening around us. So,
cool.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to use the honey in the visualization and we'll clear through the organs. And I'm ready to be healed. Yes. So just make sure you're comfortable. I like to meditate in pyramids. So we'll do a visualization and we'll clear through all the organs using the honey. It will be quicker than I typically do in a healing session, but this way you have the tools and you can elongate the time frame of it at another, you can come back and then do it longer. So we're going to go ahead and close our eyes. And kind of going back to where Virginia left us off. Connected up to source, connected into the earth, Gaia. Taking 3 deep breaths in. Allowing anything that's ready to be released to just flow down and out. And as you're breathing in, I want you to imagine a beautiful golden pyramid coming all around you. It's 3-dimensional. It's really big so that there's space for you to lay down and stand up in or sit in. And I like to use pyramids because they're really grounding and they support our transformation and growth more rapidly. So imagine that pyramid coming around you, rooting into the earth, connecting up to source. And from the top of the pyramid, you're going to imagine golden honey flowing from the top, coming over the head space and clearing about 3 inches of your energetic field all around you. So anything from the day that you've taken on, any other belief systems that are not yours, we're clearing that through and outside the whole body. And also clearing any electromagnetics or phones, anything like that. And then from the top of the head, an acupuncture point called Dew 20, you're going to imagine honey flowing into the brain. And we're going to move kind of quick. So we're just clearing anything in the brain, anything in the head space that might be blocking or clunky or thoughts that are ready to be released. And we're going to flow straight down the back and we're going to go into the kidneys and we're going to release any fear that you've identified today, just in our talking, all fear that's you're holding for yourself, for your business and the collective. Just imagine that honey permeating through all parts of your kidney and flowing into the earth. And then again, coming up to the neck, and we're going to clear with honey through the lungs. So clearing any grief in yourself, any grief in your business, any grief of the collective. And the honey just binds that grief and clears it right into the earth. Any cells that are not needed in this area, anything that are foreign, clearing that too. Clearing through the heart space, anything blocking your highest ability to express love and joy in your life, in your business, in the collective. Through the stomach and the spleen. So the stomach is right up by your heart. It's quite small. And the spleen is over to the left of that. So clearing through those organs of overthinking and anxiousness. clearing through the right of the right under the right rib cage, our liver, clearing through any anger, frustration, and the gall bladder, so any repressed anger or frustration. And winding and bending through all of the small intestine, clearing any blockages in your highest ability to absorb and your highest ability for discernment in your life, in your business, in the collective. And then moving up over to the large intestine, up, over, and down through the large intestine, clearing your ability to really effectively eliminate limiting beliefs, anything physical, things you're holding on to. And moving into the bladder space, a container of fear and boundaries. So clearing any boundaries that are no longer working for you. And then almost imagine this honey and this golden light coming out, surrounding you at least 3 feet out, all the way out like an egg shape. And you're reestablishing this really clear boundary of love, that only the highest love can come into your energetic space. And I actually put a mirror on the outside too. Anything that is not of the highest love frequency gets sent back to its sender with the highest level of consciousness. And then we didn't talk about this, but I always let this honey flow and circulate all through the root chakra, the pelvic floor, the sex organs, clearing out all time, space, dimensions, and beyond, physical, emotional, spiritual blockages or traumas that are ready to be fully released, binding into this honey. Because this is your place of safety. This is your feminine power. We want to clear it so that you can feel fully embodied and safe and foundational. All of your needs are being met. And as we clear that, everything up above clears to all the way up to source, and everything into the earth clears through their energy centers. And then the honey flows down the legs, and you can just imagine this honey going deeper and deeper, just clearing through all layers, all blood vessels, all organs. Giving yourself full permission to release all those emotions that are no longer needed. Knowing you can come back and do this even more in depth if you have specific fear you want to clear or a specific situation. You can clear it through each organ just on its own. I'm taking 3 deep breaths here. Good. And just gently coming back in, sensing, rolling the shoulders, coming into the body. You can do this as something comes up in the moment, as you're washing dishes. You really can clear at any time. Give yourself permission. So the big thing is identifying, acknowledging, and releasing down and out of the body. So opening the eyes, stretching. If you have a minute to journal anything that's coming up for you. Yes. Honey. You can use warm water, but I love honey because I just love imagining it binding into the honey and flowing out. Yes, you can definitely catch the replay. Tara Ann just came on. So the big thing, you guys, if you catch the replay, make sure that you say replay and you can comment throughout it so we can include you in the list for our drawing. To be qualified for our drawing, you need to catch the videos or the replays, and then also make sure you do the soul work. So those are in the unit tab. So each day we will have a soul work where you're just bringing in what you're clearing or what you're calling in or what you've noticed, what you learned. So that we can kind of build each other up. The more we participate in that soul work, the more things exponentially shift and change this week. And we have some surprises that we'll do some drawings on Friday. So those people that do all of it, we will some really awesome surprises. So I don't even get to tell you, but soul work, definitely want to do that. So check out the soul works in the unit tab every single day. you want to do that, and then you want to catch this, if you can't be live, just definitely say replay, and we'll add you into the sheet that we have tracking. And then, yes, if you need a workbook or sheets, then we will just say exactly like Tracy Berry said, say workbook, and we'll email that to you. So if anybody still has the workbook, because this is a great way to really see what we talked about and use this as a journal, use this as a prompt, start to think about what you're ready to release, what's holding you back in your business and your life. Because as we can energetically tune into where those are being stored in the body, in the organs, you will notice massive shifts. And if you have a business, we can clear that through the business. And I know we didn't do that part today, but you can allow that to clear through the business as well. So let us know if you need a workbook. And even if you're catching the replay, say that, and then you can tag one of us. So Christine or Virginia or myself, say workbook, please, and tag us. Elena needs it, and Tracy, I think, needs it. So we can make sure that gets emailed to you. And anything else you ladies would like to add before we hop off?
I was just going to make one small correction. I made this said this at the beginning. Facebook has literally overnight changed the units tab. It's no longer called units. It's called guides. So just that's where all of these replays will be hosted. So
yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Tomorrow's all about the stillness within. So it's a good one too.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
We'll see you guys all tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Share your wins, share what's shifting for you this week, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Ciao, folks.
Bye.
Bye.